Good evening, and thanks for joining tonight's TI Technology webinar hosted by Texas Instruments, where tonight we're going to be talking about the love of math. My name is Mike Houston, and I'm the moderator for this event. I teach algebra and calculus near Pittsburgh, where I use TI Technology to make tough-to-teach, tough-to-learn concepts accessible to all my students. With us tonight, we're joined by two fantastic panelists, Randy Munch-Arvanitis and Jennifer Waters. Randy's in her 17th year of forcing her love of math on children in the classroom. In the past few years, she has added physics to her teaching credentials and enjoys throwing things just to yell, "Gravity!" She has worked at the same high school her entire teaching career and would not go anywhere else. She became T-Cubed regional instructor with her best friend Jennifer, even though Jennifer claims her menu button is her best friend. Randy currently serves as the technology implementation resource for her school while in distance learning. Randy, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, it's really great to be here.
And Jennifer is in her 13th year of energizing mathematics in the classroom. She has worked in both middle and high schools in Southern California. Jen is a champion of TI-Nspire, technology, and statistics in the classroom. She became a T-Cubed regional instructor with her best friend, Randy, and promised to always be her co-presenter. Her technology background as a young child drives her spirit to be a lifelong learner, both in and out of the classroom. So, Jen, it's great to have you with us tonight.
Thanks so much. It's really exciting to be here.
We're expecting a large crowd, so your audio is muted. Feel free to send any questions you have to Randy or Jen using the Q&A window on the right side of your screen. We'll also be using the chat window to send general messages. As a reminder, the session is being recorded, and we'll provide a link to the event certificate of attendance at the conclusion of the webinar. We hope you don't have any audio issues, but in the event that you do, at the bottom of the WebEx screen, why don't you try and toggle the audio broadcast on and off. At this point, Jennifer is going to discuss our agenda.
Well, hello, everybody. We're going to start with some introductions about who we are. Then we're going to let you know about our current teaching situation, no matter how amazing or how awful it may sound to you. And then we're going to share about what we love, about what we do still, even in all the negative energy. We're going to share with you what brings us joy these days while distance learning. We're going to go over some TI-Nspire things, some TI-84 things. Not too much new, but definitely hoping to give you some stuff to re-energize you. And then we're going to share the hashtag Spreading Math Love and hope that you use it on Twitter the month of February. That'll be our goal. And then last, but definitely not least, so please stick around to the end. We're going to have a drawing for a free, that's right guys, a free way to get to that TI conference. And what I mean by that is, a T-Cubed registration. So please make sure you stay to the end for that free registration drawing.
Thanks so much, Jennifer. Randy, good luck trying to keep up with that energy. Please discuss our expected outcomes.
Mike, I don't think you understand the competitive nature that Jen and I have. I don't know if you read our biographies, but we just go off of each other all night long. So by the end of this webinar, you'll see bullet number 1 right now. You will see how two very tired teachers still manage to love what we do at the end of the day. And kudos to you guys who are on the East Coast, because we're in California, so it is only 5 o'clock. I'm in bed at 8, so kudos to you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully you leave here with some fresh ideas that maybe you haven't tried before. One of Jen and I's goals anytime we do a presentation together forever, because I promised, is that we hope that you walk away with a little bit of nugget that was new. And if nothing else, you have at least 2 new people to follow on Twitter.
That's great.
Because Mike's here. Can't forget Mike.
3 very tired teachers.
Yes.
Yes.
So, Randy, I think you have control. Feel free to get started.
So first, Jen and I are just going to tell you a little bit about ourselves to give you a perspective from where we're coming from in the information that we're giving you. So Jen and I are both from San Diego, California, where it is great weather, except for last week we had some high winds and some water, but I'm in flip-flops and t-shirts right now. We are both fully virtual in our school district, and our district just posted that we will not be coming back anytime soon as far as we know. I'll let Jen talk about her specific school because we are at separate schools. So my school, we have 8 periods I was going to say a day. That's how tired I am. We have 8 periods total for the kids, 4 each day. So I teach 6 classes in my teaching load, and my kids see me 35 to 45 minutes every other day, and then sometimes on Fridays. That's my face-to-face time with the kids. I teach, usually it's a mouthful, but this year it's a little bit less. So I teach integrated math 2 because we're on an integrated system. I teach calculus BC. I teach AP Physics 1, and I teach AP Physics C. I decided to take on AP Physics C this year. It's been a great choice so far. I love it.
And you love it.
I do. I would not give it up for anything in the world.
Clearly, she wouldn't give it up for more preps either, which clearly is what happened. So my whole situation doesn't sound as horrific, but it definitely doesn't feel any better. So I have been in distance learning, as with Randy, since March of 2020. I have not stepped foot back in my classroom since then. We have a 6-period schedule with 3 periods a day. I get a maximum of 45 minutes of online time with them 2 days a week. Our Fridays are kind of flexible. We use it for questions and answers and homework help and tutoring. So my normal 210 minutes of instruction is now down to 90 minutes a week. So I'm feeling overwhelmed majority of the time. I feel like I'm never getting what I need to. And the classes I'm currently teaching are AP Statistics, Pre-Calculus, and Integrated Math 3. So it is a mouthful. It is a lot of content in a short period of time. So we're going to do everything we can to share with how we keep ourselves going, even with all those struggles against us, and we hope that you can take something away from it. So, Randy, you get to decide to tell everybody about what you love, about what you do.
So what I do outside of the fact that we're in a pandemic right now, one of the things that I love, and you can think this is ridiculous, but I'm bringing the energy, and I'm going to challenge Jen to think of something better. So I was kind of a nerd in high school. I teach math and physics as an adult, so there's a lot leading up to that decision. Another math and physics. And so I was not, when I was in high school, I was like, ooh, math, this is cool. Like I played sports to get to college because I wanted a well-rounded college transcript. But one of the things I love about my job is that because I'm so enthusiastic and somehow I'm very outgoing all day long, the kids think that I was cool in high school. And so that's really a bonus right now for me, that the kids think I was cool. Jen, can you top that?
I am literally her polar opposite. We have somehow become best friends because we're so similar as teachers, but we were very different. I would have not been her friend in high school.
No,
and I'm saying this, I have a lot of love for her. Sharing that love. Yeah. So I was the opposite. I was a cheerleader. I was very involved. I had, a good chunk of friends. But the difference was no one knew I was good at math. And
everyone knew I was good at math.
Yeah, like I wasn't that overly academic teacher's pet. Like I got math, but I was never like, ooh, I want to be on academic decathlon and I want to be an AP everything. And so I was kind of that closeted math kid. And so I spent a lot of my time building up confidence and reminding them that just because you don't feel like it's cool doesn't mean you can't show it off. And so I spend a lot of my time being dorky and nerdy on purpose, so that way they feel like it's not a bad thing to be excited about math. And so for me, it's all about confidence building. And right now, no joke, I'm faking my energy. Like I have a lot of natural energy, but I wish I was napping. I'm not going to lie. I wish I was napping majority of the time I'm teaching these days because I'm so exhausted. I'm exhausted from planning. I'm exhausted from teaching. I was telling Randy last night, I was up for 3 hours trying to come up with this way to do a stats lesson. I hated everything about it. I then woke up way too early to scrap the whole thing and start over again. And you know what saved me today? It wasn't the activity, because the activity was awful. It was me being honest with my kids and going, guys, I redid this activity 5 times. It's probably horrific, but just try it. Just please try it. And then they were so prepared for something way worse that they were like, that really wasn't that bad. So I felt like my honesty with them is what's saving me each day. What do you think, Randy?
I think it's great that you pointed that out, because I had that exact same thing happen to me on Saturday. I try and give myself a day of mental break. And usually I take that day of mental break on Saturday so that Sunday I can get re-energized and ready to go. But because I had some family commitments for Sunday, I had to do it on Saturday. And for some reason, I was full of energy. I do not know what happened or where it came from. But I had this idea. I was like, ooh, I'm going to try something new with my Calc BC kids. And I am in kind of a nice situation with my Calc BC kids. I had them last year, so I know them in person. They know me in person. We've seen face to face. We have a built-in rapport that I don't have necessarily with my freshmen, because they've looped with me through AB to BC. And I had this great idea on Saturday, and I was like, this is going to be the best. I'm going to get their input. Here we go. I'm going to let them tell me. And then I wasn't able to actually build the lesson until Sunday night. And Sunday night, after all the family commitments, I was just like, oh my God. Usually I tell my
I know that feeling.
Just so everyone that's listening knows, I make a lot of odd noises. It's part of my personality. Usually when the kids see certain facial expressions, they know it's coming, so you may have to modulate your volume. Just beware. But when I got down to create it on Sunday night, I was like, this is not as cool as I thought it was going to be. But I was like, you know what? It's Sunday night, and I have to do this tomorrow. So when I introduced it to the kids, I was like, listen, kids, you all know how much I love sequences and series, because they've heard me talk about how much I love sequences and series. But the way that I envisioned this in my head and the way that what it actually created, I was not happy with it. If we were in person, I would be embarrassed. I'd be like, I'm sorry, kids, we're just going to watch a movie today because this is embarrassing. But I was honest with the kids, and I was like, you know what? This is what I intended. I am going to keep, and while the kids were doing it, I was keeping my reflections on how I thought it was going in the chat. Mm-hmm. And so the kids were seeing how I was moving through my teacher moves, essentially, and I was asking them for feedback. And I have a pretty good relationship with my kids. Most of them love me. Some of them hate me. But then they grow to love me, and they tell me they grow to love me, and it's the best thing in the world. But I was telling the kids, this is how it is, it's what I want. And normally my kids give me good feedback, but in a class full of kids, if they hear one kid say something, then they're like, oh, that kid already said it, I don't have to say it. But they, almost all of them, gave me feedback, and they gave me constructive feedback. Mm-hmm. One of the kids was like, Miss Munch, I think if you added a Padlet to this part of it, it would be great, and we could talk to each other. And I was like, oh my God, kids, you are amazing. And so the fact that my honesty with the kids brought that out of them, and they felt that comfort, I was like, this is great. I can't ask for anything better. If I feel like I'm delivering like a subpar lesson, but the kids are responding in a positive way, and they're taking ownership of how they want to learn, like I can't ask for anything better than that. I mean, I'd love if they got sequences and series, but baby steps, baby steps.
So I'm really glad that you said something that you said, because I totally forgot about this, the relationship that you've had previously. So, Michael, I know that you have a poll ready to ask everybody what their current teaching situation is. So I was wondering, Mike, while we're talking about the issue that I have that Randy hasn't experienced with her BC kids, if you can send out that poll, and I would love everyone to choose which situation they're in. Are you full hybrid? Are you full online? Or are you completely on campus? And so I'm really curious where we are all kind of at. We've got over 100 people here. I can only imagine what it's at. Randy was talking about how her BC kids had this relationship with her. She's actually met them. I have met 0 of my kids in person. I'm teaching to 39 gray squares every day. And so, Randy, I want you to talk about how anonymity, or I can't even say that word correctly, how being able to be anonymous, even though I've never met them, that concept of being anonymous is actually really powerful.
All my English teacher friends are going to be very proud of me. I believe it's pronounced anonymity.
Ooh, nice.
I'm pretty sure. I have to frequently step aside from my lesson and be like, oh my God, kids, I didn't say that. Don't tell your English teacher I said that. Just pretend I have good grammar all day long. And so one of the things that I've started to notice, and my freshmen don't have that. They've met me before, and it's kind of seeped into my freshmen. I'm talking kind of around in circles. I apologize. So my kids, my BC kids, because I had them last year in AB, they feel comfortable telling me their struggles. But this year I have noticed that so many more of them, so much more of them, so many, this is the anonymity, confidence coming back at me. So many more of them feel comfortable telling me how they felt about a lesson. And my freshmen are starting to kind of get traction with, Miss Munch, I felt like this lesson I didn't do the best that I can. And I think it has something to do with that. I think the negative connotation in the real world is keyboard warriors. So there's people who feel very empowered to say things when they're behind the curtain of a computer. But I think my kids have taken that keyboard warrior idea and applied it to, well, I can tell my teacher how I feel, and she's going to respond to me in a positive way. And that's one of my goals for this second semester, was that when a student leaves me a message, even if it wasn't a message, because kids just kind of sometimes make comments and you're like, is the child asking me a question? Do they need help? What's going on? So one of the things that I've tried to do with my own practice this semester is anytime a student leaves a comment, no matter what it is, that I respond back to them. And I think that has definitely increased their willingness to share with me, whether it's a struggle or whether it's a success, because they see that there is a person on the other end of it. It's not just I'm typing to the internet, but they still have that, well, Miss Munch doesn't really know me, so it's safe to say. And Jen and I are not touchy-feely people. We're not, when they asked us to do the, for the love of math, we were like, what? What love? I don't know, that's a little weird. And so then we kind of turned it to what do we love about our job, but we're not touchy-feely people. So when a kid shares their feelings with us, it's a little bit
overwhelming,
yes,
but appreciated. Because I feel like there are some kids that would have never come up to me and asked a question that feel totally comfortable writing a comment in a chat window.
Yes.
Or a comment on their assignment. So I feel like for some kids, those doors have been opened. And for some kids, they love turning on that volume. So let's talk about ways that we're finding joy when we can't do things in the classroom. Like, I am missing my activities. Yes. I am missing my light bulb moments. I am missing my interactions. So what are we doing to kind of replace that when we're constantly surrounded with, as Randy likes to call it, toxic positivity? So Randy, I want you to send me the globe.
I don't have the globe. Mike has the globe.
Oh, Mike.
Oh, yeah, Mike has the globe.
So
now Jen has the globe.
Let's check out that polling, though. Look at how many people are hybrid. Look at how many people are all online. And there are 12 people that are completely on campus. You 12 are warriors. I don't know how comfortable you feel at that. I don't know if it's a personal choice or a requirement, but go you hybrid. I couldn't, I'm barely surviving now. I don't know how you do both at the same time.
And
That's real to me.
I've heard so many different, like, how hybrid is going. I just think it would be crazy. Like, people say online is a struggle. Kudos to you guys who are doing hybrid. So Jen was talking about toxic positivity, and I know about myself, and Jen knows this about me too. I tend to think the worst of myself, and so I dig myself into this very negative space. And so when I saw this thing about toxic positivity, I was like, how can you be toxically positive? So I want to share that we're trying to actively work to find positive things, and our goal in sharing what things that are bringing us joy is not to be toxically positive. It's about, especially for us, not letting that negative self-doubt win, not letting it consume you to the point where, so when I was talking about the great idea that I had on Saturday, then by the time it came to, like, I could have said, this is awful, I'm just going to do something, like give up on the idea that I had and totally do something else. But I didn't let that negativity win. And so we're going to share some things that have helped us be more positive and continue to love what we do. And this is Jen's slide, because I don't talk about confidence intervals. I know the word because I hear her talk, but this is not mine.
So if you're seeing confidence intervals on your screen, it's because this is a little wink, wink, hint, hint, shout out to statistics, which I never feel like it's enough information or enough, time on the screen. So something that has brought me joy. I normally, in a normal classroom, have music playing as kids walk into my classroom. They're doing the warm-up. I'm taking attendance and all that fun jazz. And I've lost that. I've lost the mood setting. So I thought about ways of how can I set the mood. So I don't teach the first 10 minutes of my class, so I don't consider that part of my lesson time. We have a wide range. We have 90 minutes, and we can use 45 of them. So it's whatever 45 minutes of our choice. I always start 10 minutes into the period. But what if all of those kids show up early? So I kind of have this like mood setter where it could be a math video that they're watching for those first couple minutes as I'm getting ready. Or sometimes it's nothing math related at all. It could be music wave sounds. I've had calligraphy going. I've had other stuff. And then the happy accident happens where I accidentally put a graphing linear inequalities on the AP Stats video. And I noticed 2 minutes into the video, my chat window was blowing up. And normally they don't say too much. They're just kind of quiet. And I couldn't figure out what they were talking about. And then I realized, oh my gosh, they're watching a video that has nothing to do with statistics. But they were getting into it. At first they were like, what's happening? What's going on? And then they're like, wait a minute, I kind of remember this. And then they were like, oh, let's see if we can answer these questions. Miss Waters, are you just trying to be funny with us? And so it ended up creating this environment where they were talking about math that had nothing to do with our class, but at least got them talking. And I miss that part. I miss the talking. And so these are some of the places I love going to get some random stuff, Mash Up Math, Professor Dave, Simple Learning, because they're purposely more animated, so it's easier to watch. It's not just a teacher doing an example. I try to stay away from that. I also like a couple things that are totally outrageous. There is a number file on YouTube, and that guy does some of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. And so that's a little over the top if you want to totally make their brains explode, but I really like this idea. Our district also requires us to do a social emotional learning check-in. So in order to bring some laughs, in order to bring me some joy, I find a meme appropriate for school. I add it to a question on Padlets, and they respond to it. And sometimes it's, what's happening in life. Sometimes it's totally random. Sometimes it's about school. Sometimes it's not about school. And so this is just one more way, because I'm not a touchy-feely person, where I can connect with them about what's happening in the world in a safe environment where I'm comfortable having those discussions. Randy, the next thing I have up here is choice, and I've got your example up. You want to talk about how you embed your student choice?
No, because I'm going to go back to something. Welcome to our friendship, everyone. You're just basically listening to an hour-long call between the two of us. So somebody said a couple things in the chat that I want to address. So our district, I don't know if you can hear my dog sneezing in the background. I'm sorry. Our district does not allow us to have our kids on camera. We can say, you guys are welcome to turn on your camera, and sometimes kids do. But so the other thing that was pointed out in the chat is kids play music. So I also play music. And one of the things, and I play music that has no words, because for me personally, somebody said that doing this is a dominance move over your kids, and I was like, well, that's weird. But I choose music that doesn't have words, just because for me personally, if I hear words, I'm going to start singing the words, and then I'm going to get sidetracked and forget that, oh, I have to start class. So when I have my kids come back from an activity, I ask them, can you guys just flick your camera off and on so I can see that you're back? And I said it can be pointed towards the wall, window, and then one time I said it can be a random object. And so kids started putting random objects in front of the camera. And one random object a kid had was an anime character, and this kid, I recognized it as the same anime character. So I had my husband, who is an anime nerd. He loves me, so I can say that. I was like, honey, who is that? And he told me the name of the show. And so instead of the music that I wanted, I went and I searched for anime music. And the first day that I played anime music, the kids just went bonkers. They were like, oh my God, it's this from such and such, it's this from such and such, it's that picture. And I had to admit to the kids that I was an anime poser and that I don't actually know anything about anime, because I feel like I blinded them. They thought they made this connection with me as an anime nerd. I was like, no, kids, it's my husband. But so I started letting the kids choose music. And so today a kid was like, Miss Munch, why didn't you play, I'm going to mess this up if there's any anime fans in here, or K-pop, Monsta? I think it's Monsta. But she's like, Miss Munch, why didn't you do this? So I said, listen, guys, I don't know what I'm looking for. I just type things in and try and find things. So if you send me things, I will be more than happy to put them in the morning slides. And I got 3 emails within 5 minutes. So I am set to go for a couple weeks on music for the morning that I didn't choose. Because one time they were complaining about the music, and I was like, listen, kids, I try and find something that you'll like. But if you don't like it, then I'm going to play what I like. And let me tell you, mine is the country music of the 80s and 90s. So we're going to play some achy breaky heart in here, and you guys are going to like it. And so I just wanted to comment that for people who can't have their cameras on, that's one of the ways that I sneaky got in there. And I am getting so many pets. Oh, it's amazing. It is amazing. Even though, so we got a little talking to from our principal about not supposed to show our pets on camera, because one person ruined it. But that's kind of my workaround for not having the kids turn on their camera. I just say, show something. Some kid puts a water bottle up every time, and it's great. But now, what was I supposed to talk about, Jen?
You're supposed to focus on student choice with your math assignment. Holy Moses.
I believe I told them they're listening to just an hour phone call between me and you. So I'm going to be very honest. I was not a fan of Google. We were forced to use Google. I'm a Canvas user. Canvas user, shout out.
Okay.
So I have struggled to make Google work for me. And so one of my goals this semester, to kind of step out of my comfort zone, was to give the kids more control over what they wanted to do. And I'm kind of a control freak. I don't know if you know this. But I needed to step out of that comfort zone for me so that I could get more success for my kids. So what you see on the screen is my first attempt, so don't judge me, at giving the kids choice. So we as a district or as a school purchased Cami. And since we purchased it, our school wants us to use it. And so I am a new user to Cami, so I was like, oh, okay, it seems like this is what kids use worksheets for. And I'm slowly learning like the power of Cami, what else you can do with it. But my first attempt, so that I didn't overwhelm myself and I didn't overwhelm the kids, was, all right, kids, I'm going to give you a choice. You can complete an ed puzzle, and the ed puzzle was not anything exciting. It was me going through practice problems, giving examples, or you can do this worksheet. And the kids' feedback on what I thought was just like, oh, it's just me lecturing, or oh, it's just a worksheet, was so, like, the kids make comments from their perspective that you don't think of as a teacher. And so one of the comments that I got when I gave kids the choice was, you know, Miss Munch, I didn't feel very comfortable doing it on my own, so I started with the ed puzzle, because I told them, if you are not comfortable, do the thing that's more guided. And the kids said they watched it for like 5 minutes, and they were like, oh, I can do this. I'm working ahead of you. And so they switched over to doing the more independent assignment. And that's not anything that I would have thought. I would have thought they would have picked one and just gone with it. But the fact that this kid self-assessed and didn't just take the easy path, I was amazed. And so when I asked my kids to reflect on, like, was this an okay thing that I tried? Do you want to see it again? They were all very, very positive about it. I had one kid who said they didn't like it. And when I was talking to him about it, he said that he was confused. And in kind of talking to the kid a little more, he's an English language learner, and so I have a lot of text on that. And so one of the things that I'm reflecting on is, how can I get that to be less texty and less intense for the kids? I would also like to kind of expand outside of ed puzzle and just a practice worksheet. But when the kids see me do this, I think that's one of the things that draws them in a little bit more and makes my job more enjoyable, because now I can think, all right, what are my options? Like, what are two things that aren't going to make my life more stressful? Because I did the same thing. The worksheet was the same thing as the ed puzzle, but one was me going through it. So I did
you in 30 seconds. Wrap it up.
All right, Susan, settle down. Susan and Deborah are our alter egos.
When she starts going on a rant, I got to reel her back in, or we're going to hear about her self-reflections for another hour, and I'm dozing, and I love ya. Okay.
Go for it.
So you could be like Crazy Randy and do an ed puzzle and a Cami, and oh my goodness gracious, none of that toxic positivity for me. Let's keep it simple, my darlings. So for me, it's choose two out of the 4 options below. Done. There's some of my choice. This is the stuff that makes me happy. 1, I'm grading and checking less work. 2, I can see if they're all going to skip the one with the negative in it, so I can force us to do it as a class. And realistically, the goal right now with distance learning, I'm be real honest, the kids are stressed, they're overwhelmed. I'm lucky if they spend 10 minutes on my class. So if I can get 2 well done examples, I'll take it. And so choice just isn't about choosing an activity you prefer. It can also be about, if everything looks awful, can you at least narrow it down to something you can digest? And so I like adding our notes page. I like adding some videos in there. Again, sometimes about working smarter, not harder. If you don't have the time, because let's be honest, you're probably a parent. You probably have a million things to do. You probably haven't slept enough. Then don't try and do more. Try and take less off your plate and give them a choice, making them think like they're doing less, when in reality, this is for us. I don't have the time to do 4 for every single one. So just something to take mind. The last thing I want us to talk about in regards to things that bring us joy is, and I know, Randy, you like to talk about reflection for 5,000 hours. Or tell us what
that's why
this reflection is for.
Jen is here to stop me from talking.
Mm-hmm. Go for it.
I didn't hear what you said because I was talking over you.
Oh, I want you to tell us what the heck this picture of a reflection is.
Oh, that's from my Pear Deck. So one of the tools that we also bought is Pear Deck, and I am loving Pear Deck. This is a little plug for the T3 conference. One of the things that Jen and I talk about in our session is how we use the emulator software purely virtual. So I saw that somebody tagged the education TI in the chat. No, sorry, that's NASA, but they talked about it, and we'll talk about it later. And so one of the things that we embed in Pear Deck is the Nspire software. And so on this particular lesson at the end, I told my kids, because I don't know about you guys, but normally I am let me plan every day for the school year. That is not happening this year. This is here's what I'd like to accomplish for the week. And then I teach one day and I'm like, oh, that's not going to happen for the rest of the week. And so I have to adjust. So one of the things that I've started doing is at the end of the lesson, I ask the kids to tell me one thing they've learned, and usually it's the thing that stuck out, and it's not always the thing that I wanted to get across. And so it's nice to know what did they take from this, but also one thing that they want clarified. If I'm stuck in this, I can plan day by day to see how much I get through in my 35, 45 minutes. Having the kids tell me what they want and what they need makes my job so much more enjoyable because I'm still talking to blank circles, but I am meeting the needs of my kids as best I can. And that the first semester I was like, I'm a horrible teacher. I'm failing my kids. You know, everybody's telling me teachers are failing. And so knowing that my kids are telling me what they need and I'm addressing that, even if I'm a failure to the rest of the world, I'm not going to be a failure to my kids. And I don't care about the rest of the world. I care about my kids. And so this is something I've put at the end of my Pear Decks so that the kids can kind of guide where we're going. If I'm losing control of where we're going because I only got 35 minutes every other day, then I'm at least going to make it worthwhile.
Beautiful entrance. So what I miss, I don't know how I'm doing this every day. I miss those light bulb moments. I can't tell in their face when they've had that aha moment, that, oh, I've got it. And so I've been going back and forth. What are the right questions to ask? How do I know they understand it? How do I know they're just not dragging this little button all the way over to thumbs up because it looks cool? And then I had a couple kids who started to really push me on that. What is it that you want to know, Miss Waters? And I want to know, do you feel like you got anything that we did today? And just getting a little bit of the, oh, you know what? I did number 1 and number 2 really good, but I'm struggling on number 4. Realizing they don't have to use the math vocabulary to give me an idea of how successful they felt on the math topic. And so I wanted to share this because I stole this. I can't even remember where I stole it from, somewhere on the beautiful internet of the Facebook and the Twitter and the Instagram, the teacher amazingness that's out there. And so I am paying it forward. This has given me the light bulb moment I've been missing. And so, yes, Delta Math, Get More Math, those are all fabulous places. Delta Math is my savior right now for some of that homework business that I've been loving.
Yes.
Especially because, and here we are segueing into the next topic, my kids don't have the calculator at home. So how do we tie in some cool 84 things and some cool Nspire things if it's always me using it? And so go for it, Randy.
Well, I was going to say, because I know you have to switch screens. So while Jen is switching screens, Mike, can we put out one of those polls about, because you just listened to us chat for like 1,000 minutes about what we love about teaching. So why don't you guys take this time to share what you love about teaching? Mike, is it going to be a poll or are we doing it in the chat? I think we're doing the chat.
Yep. Can we do the chat?
Yeah. So if you guys could share with us, because I love learning. I'm a teacher. And so if you guys could share something that you love about teaching, we would like some takeaways from this as well, because we don't get ticket to the T-Cubed thing. So if you guys could share with us, we would love to see those, because we're in San Diego. We have a very, this is the viewpoint that we have, but you guys are from all over. So what are some things that you either love about teaching right now that you're finding are successful for you guys while Jen's switching over?
Oh, yes, the aha moment.
So it's funny that somebody in the chat said seeing them get it for the first time, because I had a kid send me a screenshot when they were so excited that they got a Delta Math question right. They sent me a screenshot of their face and was like, "Much, you can't see me, but this is the face I made." I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're so cute. Thank you."
It's amazing the little things we miss. Like the little things that I took for granted. It's insane. All right.
So I've heard about Book It, and I feel like I need to look it up. Taking a few minutes each week. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's as somebody who teaches AP classes, it's very hard to transition to that. We gotta go. We gotta go. We gotta go. Anytime a student communicates anything, I feel you. I feel you on that 100%.
Can they just talk to me?
Yeah.
That would be great. I actually started having a segment either at the beginning or the end of my lesson where I'm like, all right, guys, I'm going to be moving some screens around for 30 seconds. Unmute yourself and just make some noise. Let me know I'm not here by myself. And it starts out with a, and then it's turned into like a, yeah. And so it's really exciting. It's really just finding those little nuggets of opportunity. It's really hard.
It's like that feeling when you tell kids we're changing seats today and they're like, "Oh my God, I like where I'm sitting. I don't want to change." And then they get there and they're like, "Oh, this is great. Don't move me."
Don't move me. All right. I am loving this. I'm so glad everything's recording, because I'm going to want to copy and paste this entire chat window. Okay.
Oh, we're being recorded?
We are. I hope you were prepared for that.
I was not prepared, but here we go.
All right, so quick and dirty, as super inappropriate as that just sounded. Some cool things on the 84 I'm really trying to use and steal and do more often. I have the calculator. They do not. So everything is always on my side. So awesomeness about the 84. The one thing I can say, the 84 is better than the Nspire, because I hate saying that out loud. But the click of the screen and the dragging of the screenshot. Holy Jemima, if you didn't know that, I hope you do. And if you already knew that, awesome. And I'm just going to minimize this, because I think one of the things that we don't realize is that these screenshots can literally be pulled into just about anywhere. Padlet, Google, you name it. And so the reason why we have this Padlet up is because realistically, I don't just want to present me typing on a calculator. And one of the most underutilized things I think about the 84 is coding programs. I know we can do it, but do we really do it very often? And so I like to bring in a little bit of coding out of nowhere. It has nothing specific to do with my content area for that day, but it gets them thinking and paying attention to details. And that's very math oriented. You know, are you paying attention to the little things? And so I like taking pictures of codes that I make. And so
Jen, that's very tiny. That's very tiny.
Really small?
It is. However, I'm going to post the Padlet in the chat.
Because you're amazing.
And for those of you who would like to see that a little bit bigger, or would like to interact with it, you are welcome to interact with our Padlet and see the things that we have. And hopefully you can see it. You can see the Padlet or the screen. It's just super small to me on my screen. And that was just my segue into giving you guys the Padlet.
Beautiful.
Continue with your thing. Sorry I interrupted you, but I needed to put the Padlet in the chat.
That's totally okay. So, for example, I'll have the coding language on the left, I'll have the actual display on the right, and the question is how come that last line didn't make it onto the program display? And so it's okay, can you pay attention to the detail? I'm not teaching them how to code. I'm not making them do the code, but it's pointing out what's missing, that error analysis. And so coding is math and math is coding, but how often do they get to practice that in Algebra 2, Algebra 1, Math 7, pre-calculus? But every class needs that attention to detail. And so it's really nice to get them to comment and to think about these things. Other things that we've done with our 84, bringing in box plots.
Before you go there, Jen, I had a thought. And I'm sorry I keep interrupting you, but we're best friends. It's okay. How many of you have given your kids the question, spot the error? And it's always a math problem, and it's always that standard, who said, and there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like I just made that negative. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a great problem. But kids have seen it. And giving the kids something a little bit different where they can spot the error in a different way, I think is a great way of showing them that the skills you learn in math class don't just apply to math. Mm-hmm. They apply elsewhere. I'm going to get off my soapbox now.
Oh, my God, I love that.
I know.
Math. For the love. Okay. So, and a little plug-in, Randy and I are doing a session for T-Cubed. Our session is on February 20th. It's a Saturday. And our goal is how to use your, oh my goodness gracious, your software for distance learning. And so if you want to know how to create this GIF moment where you can actually create this live GIF that they can respond to, whether it's on the Nspire or on the 84, we highly recommend you come to that and learn how to do that. We hit a bunch of different things for distance learning and all using the software within it, which is really cool. And the last thing I want to show you with the 84, which is going to involve you being in the chat window.
Ooh, I'm excited. She made me do this earlier.
Yes. And this is a program that I like to do as like a little warm-up to get their brains going. So I'm going to clear the screen, and I'm going to hit Program. And notice my program says WITQ. What is the question? So I'm going to hit the Enter button. Now, Randy, can you please pick a number for me?
I will pick the number of my anniversary, 3.14.
Oh, you're so cute. I'm going to hit the Enter button. The answer is yes. Do you know what the question is yet?
I do not know.
All right. So
unless it's what is my wedding date?
Yeah. So participants, if at any time you think you know what the question is, feel free to type it in the chat window. Ooh, someone said 12. All right. I'm going to type in the number 12 and hit that Enter button. The answer is yes.
Well, 12 is not my wedding date, so that was not the question.
That's not the question. I'm going to use that same number again, but this time I'm going to change it to a -12.
Ooh, even, square root, real number.
It is not even. It's not square root. Ooh, Danielle got it. The question is the number positive? Awesome. So notice, this is not a crazy program. It's a basic if-then statement. It gets the brain going. It's a simple prompt for a letter. If it's bigger than 0, tell me yes. If it's smaller than 0, tell me no. I didn't teach it to them, but I used it as just to get the brain going, and I can always make it different, and it's always, what is the question? Because in math, we always focus on what is the answer. So maybe it's nice and a little lovely to think backwards.
You slipped that in so seamlessly.
I tried to be so seamless.
And then I just blatantly pointed out that you slipped it in seamlessly.
Yes. All right, Randolini, I am giving you the globe, which means it is all about the TI-Nspire things. And I'm super excited for you to show off those Nspire things.
This is a lot of pressure. All right.
Feel the pressure. You're amazing.
Oh, thank you. I love that. So one of the things that I do with the Nspire in my classroom with the kids is I use that math inspired or that science inspired. So just a quick peek, if you guys haven't seen this yet, they have it for math, they have it for science. I use it for physics a lot because my school is not well funded, and so we don't have a lot of physics things. So here's where I go to get my physics things. So this is off of the TI website, just TI Inspired. Go to activities, math inspired, or science inspired. I got this off of the science inspired.
Are you sharing your screen? Because I don't see anything.
I clicked share.
Oh, Oh, I can see it now.
Oh. See, I knew I was going to be the one to mess up. I knew it.
You're amazing. You
Called
are
it.
amazing.
So this is where I got it, for those of you who couldn't see my screen earlier, even though I swear I was sharing. So I just went to activities, and for this one I went to TI-Nspire. And so I use this a lot in my classroom when the kids are there. But as the kids are not there, I can't use it with it in their hands. But the thing that I really love about being able to do these things is if you've used an Inspire, hopefully you know how amazing it is, but also you know how much of a struggle it is for the kids and their thumbs to get everything there. So this is a potential energy, kinetic energy thermal. And so you can build a bigger ramp, and you can drop this little guy. Let's see. So I keep dropping him off the ledge, so I'm going to try and not drop him off the ledge. And woo! And so the kids can watch it, and even though the kids don't have it in their hands, they can watch it. And how many of us have kids that when you say, all right, guys, I just want you to watch, look up and down and try and do it on their own, and they miss what you want because they're not watching, they're trying to recreate. So as much as it pains me that my kids don't have this, I am still using those pre-made things to show the kids what they can do or one of the things that I'm planning on, because I haven't gotten to this yet, is asking my students if they notice anything about when I change friction, if anything else changes, or when I change this button, whatever this button may do. And so having these resources that there's no way I could code this. Jen coded for you on the 84. I couldn't code this. I could Google the background pictures, but I couldn't code this. And so having these tools that my kids can still watch and observe has been I love it. There's no better way of saying it. The fact that my kids can still have access to this through my end is amazing.
You want to share with them about how you can use your pre-made stuff? You don't have to worry about all the beautiful activities you've already made on your Inspire that you don't get to use, that you can convert it to a published view document, and then you can manipulate the documents. And then a little precursor to our session, I'm going to show you how to send it into TeacherMade so they can type into your TI-Nspire document. How cool is that?
Jen, that's quite a teaser for 8 minutes.
I know. Well, I did see Danielle mention that why don't we have an online emulator everyone can use? We used to, but because it was tied to Java, it's no longer functioning. I know there's a lot of discussion about what to do with kids being at home. Unfortunately, that's way past our pay grade. Trust me, we mention it all of the time. Randy, if you want to send me the globe, I can just show what I'm talking about in like 60 seconds. That way Mike can finish us off with his little ending and that wonderful little raffle for that T-Cubed registration. I know everyone is still here for.
You're putting a lot of pressure on me to share that globe quickly.
You're doing great.
There we go, shared.
Guys, this is about loving each other and all of our craziness. So all I did here was, this is an activity I made for class. We did this. I would send it out in a navigator. It was beautiful. And now they don't have the calculator at home. So instead of just going file and print to PDF, I actually convert it to a published view document. And when you do that, it'll pop up as a PDF where you can manipulate the size of your squares. You can allow more typing capabilities. If you've ever used TeacherMade, you know that you can upload any PDF and make it interactive. So if you're someone that uses teachermade.com, I highly recommend PDFing your old activities and uploading it up there for them. If you want to learn how to do that, please come to our session, integrating the emulator software into your distance learning. We do have a beautiful Twitter hashtag. So Randy, in the chat window, can you do me a massive favor and put in our hashtag, #MathLove. We're also going to add in our Twitter handles because we promised that you would have at least 2 more people to follow. Even if you think we're horrible, We hope that you can at least find some other cool people that we're associated with that you would love to steal from as well. So hope you enjoyed the little that you saw tonight and that you're excited for more. And Randy, is there anything else you wanted to share with them before we hand it on over to Michael?
I think we covered everything in addition to all of my soapbox moments.
You're amazing. I love your
I tried. You're amazing. You're amazing too. You're beautiful.
See, look at all this love. We got to share. Guys, if we're not nice to each other, no one else is going to be nice to us. I've learned the hard way, not one person is nice to teachers.
Just so everyone knows, Jennifer is getting up tomorrow very, very early to go work out with me, so I'm going to get punished tomorrow.
Randy, add your Twitter handle to the chat window if you remember it.
I did. It's at Much906. I'm pretty sure it's 906.
You're amazing. Excellent. I think you're only sending it to one person. I don't see it to everyone.
It says to all attendees.
Oh, okay. I'm just silly.
Let me know in the chat. Can you guys see my Twitter handle?
Ooh, do we have a link to the session? Ooh, I will find it just for you as Michael is doing our send-off.
Hi, Ruth. Now I'm just super nervous.
We're really not very cool. We just pretend to be.
Ruth was our teacher when we were learning TI, so we just got observed by our teacher.
That's awesome. That's awesome. No pressure, just a little bit of sweat. Okay, I'm muting myself because now it's all about Mike.
Yes.
Thank you so much, guys. We appreciate you. Love is not something that we're very good at, so we hope you felt a little bit of love tonight.
Yes, thank you so much. We love that you stuck with us and didn't just leave the chat on and walk away.
Thanks so much. As we begin to wrap things up tonight, if you have any last-minute questions for Jennifer or Randy, please try to get those asked. I know they'll do their best to get those questions answered. As Jennifer and Randy have mentioned at least once, maybe twice tonight, we are really excited that the T-Cubed International Conference is coming up soon, and it's coming to your house. It's coming to us virtually this year over 3 weekends, February 13th, 20th, and 27th. It's a really great way to connect with other educators that are excited about their love for math, like Randy and Jennifer. And there's a lot of our perks that are going to be happening this year as well. So we hope you'll visit our website, education.ti.com, to learn a little more about the upcoming conference. And as promised, tonight we are giving away to one lucky winner a T-Cubed International Conference registration. And tonight's lucky winner is Hector Otano. So Hector, congratulations. We hope to see you as well as everyone else at the T-Cubed International Conference. And Hector will be sending you an email within a day or two to give you a little more information. To receive a certificate of attendance, go ahead and click the link in the chat window. Also listed is a link for the documents, and I saw a comment by someone earlier that at least one person, Jennifer and Randy, they're looking for your slides that you used tonight. So I'm putting you guys on the spot, hoping that you guys will let me have that. And if that's the case, then we'll be sending a follow-up email to everyone within a couple of days. That follow-up email will contain a link to the recording, so you can watch this again, which I'm sure you're going to want to do, share it with your other family members and other students, get them pumped up. But also the links for the certificate and the documents. And assuming that Randy and Jennifer are okay sharing their slides with me, I'll get that documents link updated for that follow-up email. So whenever you get that follow-up email, be sure to download that new documents link. And if you're watching this on demand, go ahead and copy that link into your favorite browser to receive your certificate. Big thanks to Jennifer and Randy. It is 9 o'clock on the East Coast. I'm tired, but you gave a lot of energy. So thanks so much for everything you shared tonight and put everything together. We really appreciate it.
Well, my two puppies are sleeping right in front of me, so they're taunting me right now.
I was like, I don't know about you, but I'm about to snack a little dinner and go to bed. I'm exhausted.
Yes.
Thank you everyone for being here. I gotta be honest with you. Half of the energy is real, the other half is pure adrenaline and nervousness. So Thank you so much for being here this long and listening to us just chat away.
Thanks everyone for joining us. We hope to see you back online next week. Have a great night.